Hey guys, this is Jella and welcome back to my channel. As you can see on my back, we are going to be making a No Gamepass IKEA store. This has been requested before. And since I finished the Korean Town series, we can start this IKEA build for this month of November. So if you want to build this too, then keep on watching. So this will be a part-by-part series since an IKEA store is quite big. And we will use the whole small plot for the store. Again, this is a No Gamepass account as you can see. So you can definitely build this if you zero or No Gamepass. It would be much easier for you to follow along the marking tiles so you can place the flooring accurately as we will try to maximize this whole small plot. I made the parking area first so that everything that is left will be for the building. I think this is a decent amount of parking space since we can fit more than 5 cars in this parking lot. Now add a plain short fence to outline the parking area. And then we will add a partition parking line using the fence marking. Color this a shade of yellow but not too bright so it would look like this establishment is quite old. Then change the texture to concrete. We have 6 regular parking space on the upper side and I'm gonna make this bottom parking for priority. So the total car that can fit here is 9 cars, which is good if you are role-playing. Now that the parking area is done, we are going to place some safety barriers using this square bollard. You can color the base to whichever you like, but I changed it to grayish with a stone texture. Make sure the light bulb is changed to black or flint so it wouldn't be bright. Then place each bollard at least 1 square apart or more. Okay, moving to the building layout itself. We're going to use the fence markings again. Now make sure to count the tiles as I place it down since this will be the layout inside of the IKEA store. If you are not sure of the sizing, you can pause the video and zoom in to count the tiles. I won't be able to add the number of lines on the next minutes, since we will start making the maze style. So just follow the markings. Now I know that some of you might not picture how the layout would turn out. But let's just trust the process. I'm gonna add the walls on the outer side first. And then I'm gonna delete some of the fence markings where I will place the wall. This would give back a few of your money since the markings cannot be seen after adding the walls. I'm adding an extension wall in front of the building layout we made. This will just be an indentation to where we will place the IKEA logo. Then add a flat roof and make the roof high enough to look like a tall building. I used the large grid and adjust the height 3 times if you are wondering how high it was. Then I added a transparent decal for the IKEA logo that I found on the free images. If you are on this part of coloring the exterior walls right now, save your money and don't color the walls this blue color that I made, since I will be changing it to a darker shade of blue to match the IKEA logo I will be adding later. I did waste money, but you don't have to. Also, the stick pillars that I added in here will also be deleted. So I recommend to just add 2 pillars, 1 on each corner of the blue wall. As for the whole roof, I just used a flat roof and adjusted the height before it reaches the extended wall we made. Then add another flat roof just in front of the yellow walls for the entrance doors. Color this second roof the same as the yellow wall. I think it wasn't really yellow but gold color with plastic texture. I added this huge painting that I will use for the IKEA logo. The transparent logo that we have was too small, so I'm gonna use that inside. This is what I mentioned earlier that I will change the exterior blue wall because I have to make this match closer to the IKEA logo from the huge painting. Now that we have placed the logos on the top part of the building, we are going to add this commercial sliding door on the yellow side. If you noticed, we have 3 doors, but the furthest one will be the exit door. Let's add some posters by the wall, and I'm using this plain large painting. Good thing there are a lot of IKEA posters on the free images when I searched up for posters. Now add a flat crown molding and color this the same as the yellow wall. I decided to just use the yellow colored molding on all the exterior walls, so it would have a pop of that blue and yellow motif of IKEA. I mean, the exterior building is so boxy, and we can't do anything about it, especially on the backside. The corner end of the sidewalk area is too obvious, so I tried to cover it with a dirt pile and plants. Now on the other side, since it is the parking area, we will just add a chain link fence. We now have this flatbed carts that we can use in here. And I'm just gonna color the cart to blue. There is also a cart with some boxes on top. And it looks cute for role plays after shopping, so I just placed it on the side of the exit door. Okay, we are finally going inside of the building. So as you can see, we have separate rooms that I made for the staff office and security, then toilets for customers. I colored the walls to blue, which I will be changing later on, so if you want to save your money, skip this part of coloring it to blue. The office rooms will be on the next part of this series. As for the floor, I used the marble texture and colored it white. Now as you can see, we have a large area in here. This is the IKEA restaurant. I really wanted to add one since I love dining at IKEA. We used to line up every morning of the weekend for breakfast at IKEA when I was younger. And I don't know if there is a long waiting line in IKEA restaurants in other countries. But I've experienced queuing for an hour, but totally worth it. Anyways, I made a separation from the restaurant to the hallway by adding fences. So I used the short hedge and metal fence alternating each other. And I will change the color of the fences later on to match the flooring instead of this yellow and blue fences. For the restaurant flooring, I used wooden brown for the dining area. And then marble floors on the kitchen and food counter line. I'm adding lights right now because we really can't see anything when the roof is on. So I'm just gonna use a sleek ceiling light and color the bulb to a bit yellowish shade. I want that warm tone vibe instead of white light. Before I placed the flat crown moldings, I adjusted the IKEA transparent decal logo a bit lower so that it doesn't get covered by the molding. Again, this blue and yellow walls that I used here will be changed to white later, except this staff office corner room. I'm adding more posters and floor sign to our lobby area since we cannot hang up posters on the ceiling. Don't forget to add a short fence railing to finish the floor of the restaurant. Okay, so now I'm gonna make a center display of a living room sample. Don't mind the placement because I will be moving this living room display at the center of the lobby. Now moving back to the restaurant, we will add a window to this wall so that dining customers can have a nice view of the outside, which is literally just the parking. But yeah, I use this clear long window since it is cheap, and you can just color the frame and glass to make it look expensive. Since there is a window here, I deleted the pillars I added earlier. That is why I mentioned not to add the pillars except the corner side, since I will be deleting this to expose the windows in the restaurant. Anyways, moving to the food lineup going to the kitchen, I'm gonna try and incorporate a fence maze line in here as well, but just a smaller version because our restaurant is not big and this is the only space we have. So all the counters I used are just plain and placed like an L shape. So when we place the fence that customers would follow when lining up, they can grab whatever they want as they pass through. I'm adding a fence from the kitchen so that I can place a cashier counter on the side before the customers return to their tables. For the cashier counter, I just copied the plain counter we have on the side. If you have a cash register, feel free to use that, but since we don't want to spend on Bloxburg, I'm just gonna use this toy cash register. You can add a photo frame in front to act as the monitor. Then add a small box and place the frame on top to make it look like the monitor base. Just color everything the same so it would match up. I'm also adding this commercial tray rack since an IKEA restaurant, it is a must to clean as you go. We must always practice cleaning up the table for the next person going to use the table to dine in, even in different restaurants besides IKEA. Okay, so we finally reached the counters. Firstly, we want to have the trays cause where can the customers place their plates and food, right? I also colored the trays to white since that is the signature tray color in IKEA restaurant. I also placed plates and cups as well as utensils. Now we are going to add a few pastries in here, and I'm using a placemat so we can just duplicate this later. Place a small box and color this however you like. I'm gonna make a brownie fudge, so hope it looks like it. Now you can just duplicate it by clicking on the placemat. And then recolor and change the texture to your choice of pastry. I'm making it a caramel oat bar. Now for the next placemats, I'm adding some beverage using the condiment bottle. So just face the bottle at the back, and then we are gonna change the color of the first 3 bottles to make it look like fruit juice. Then the 2 bottles are sodas, and lastly a water bottle. After coloring, you can now duplicate for a lesser price. I'm also adding this milk carton box if anyone wants to buy whole milk. For the last counter, this is part of the kitchen counter where there are servers making the lunch plate. So I use this food trays and we are gonna fill this later with meatballs. Because IKEA restaurant without Swedish meatballs is like peanut butter sandwich without bread. We have a decent kitchen that is 3 by 3, but I will just add the basics like the fridge, cooking stove, and counter with sink. You can use the expensive fridge or a cheaper stove of your choice. Everything depends on your budget. Just color the appliances to gray to make it commercial. Then add some kitchen clutters. Let's add more IKEA menu above the kitchen counter using this landscape painting. I'm also going to do the delete undo technique, which we have been using especially on this No Gamepass builds. So you delete the first item, which is the door frame, then drag the second item, which is the frame, to where you want to place it. Before clicking the frame, press Ctrl-Z on your keyboard at the same time left-click to place the frame. This might take a while for first-time users, and even as someone who always does it, it can still take a while. So just try it again if there is an error. Now for the dining tables, I use this square table and recolored and changed the texture to a light shade. You can use a different chair since I will be using different types of chair for other tables. Again, I will be using the delete undo technique to make the two square tables be together and look like a table for 4. I'm gonna use a different kind of table in here using this long folding table. One thing I've noticed in IKEA restaurants is that there are different kind of dining sets and tables used. So I will try to still make it look organized and aesthetic even with different tables and chairs. As I mentioned earlier, I am changing the color and texture of the fence railings. We have to match the restaurant vibe. The yellow and blue wasn't giving aesthetic in here. So I copied the floor color and texture to the hedge fence. And then color the yellow quarter fence the same as the counter line. Now we are adding a counter for the microwave and coffee machine. But we will just use this console table since it is slim and fits the size that we have. Now add the microwave and coffee machine of your choice and a few kitchen clutter to finish it off. I also copied this table since we have to add this on the other side as well where customers can use easily. I'm gonna add a quarter fence to cover the cashier counter so there would be a separation here. Don't forget to add a stool for the cashier staff so they won't have a hard time standing all day. Then add some table plants of your choice. I love using this spiky plant on tables, dressers, and counters. It looks so good for me and also cheap. I also used another table plant which is the rough plant, but you have to use the brightest green color to make the leaf bright enough. Now we are adding flat crown molding on the restaurant walls. This is why I didn't show that I colored some of the walls to blue and yellow because I will be changing this wall color to light stone gray. The light stone gray wall color wasn't giving for me in the restaurant. So I colored the walls to grime and look how that made a great change. I super love the grime color with brown wooden floor. Okay, let's add some lighting in our restaurant and I'm gonna use different pendant lights. We will use this cylindrical pendant light and change the bulb to warm tone. Now for the second light, we are using this slanting ceiling lamp. Again, I'm making this yellow bulb so it would be warm lighting. For this long table, I'm gonna use a bigger lamp which is this circular ceiling lamp. This is too bright to have a yellow bulb, so I'm changing it to linen instead. Now add sleek ceiling lights to the other parts that doesn't have lighting like the kitchen area and counter line. Okay, let's leave the restaurant now and go back to the lobby. We have this empty corner, and I'm just gonna add this modern pot and a very large plant. Move it far back on the corner and then add trash bins on the side. I used this park trash can and colored it dark stone gray. Moving to this side, we are gonna add some lockers. Yep, there are free locker service in some IKEA stores like here in the Philippines. We have the in-game lockers, but they are too small for my liking, and it is quite expensive to be honest by the size of it. So I used this cubby shelves and colored this gray inside and out. Then add a storage box to fill in the open spaces and color it the same as the cubby shelf. Okay, now I'm adding this full laundry cart, and let's pretend that this is a cart with yellow shopping bags. Like, look at how good that is. It looks low-key nice, right? I'm gonna place this all over the IKEA store as we continue the series. Add a road marking on the floor, and we are done with part 1. So this is part 1 in our IKEA No Gamepass build series. We finally finished the exterior building and restaurant. So the plot value is now costing $92,251. Again, this is a No Gamepass build. As you can see, I don't have any Game Pass because this is not my main account. Anyways, this is how the exterior of IKEA looks like. We have the parking area in front, and this can fit a lot of cars. The front has 6 parking slots and 3 priority parking, which is 9 in total. This door is the exit area after the customers paid at the cashier. So we have 2 entrance doors by the parking side and in front. I also added more square bollard in here just to make sure that the entrance is safe from cars driving through. Let's enter the parking side entrance, so as we enter, we are welcomed with an open lobby with a display at the center. This is not for customers to use and sit, just for display only. At the back, we have free locker service that customers can use. We have tried using this at IKEA here in the Philippines, and the guard and staff were so nice to assist. The office rooms and other parts are still closed for renovation, and we will open this as the series continues. Anyway, this is the IKEA restaurant, which I super love. It isn't as big as it should be, but because this is just a small IKEA branch, I wanted to make the restaurant since that is my favorite part of the store. I mean, look at how juicy the Swedish meatballs is. I love how this turned out actually. We have more dining tables in here, which is perfect if you want to start your IKEA business roleplay in Bloxburg. We have the self-service area and tray rack on the side. So over here is the start of the line to the counters. We have to get a tray first, and then pass through and get plates, utensils that you need. We also have some pastries if you like to try brownies and caramel oat bar. Then we have fruit juices, soda bottles, water, and milk. Now for the main order, we have meatballs and also other dishes that is served depending on the availability. All the menu board decals are from the free images search bar. After getting your order, you gotta pay first in here because nothing is free these days. Once you've paid for everything you got on your tray, you can now choose where to sit. We have this bar counter table in the middle, and also a few dining tables by the window. Again, we have self-service area and tray rack on the corner. And this is the small restaurant kitchen. Nothing much, but we have the basics to start cooking meals. I forgot to show you the cart of yellow shopping bags. The staffs can move it for roleplay and refill some shopping bags along the halls. It looks so cute though. Like, I definitely look like an IKEA employee right now. Anyways, that is the end of part 1 in our IKEA No Gamepass build series. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would appreciate your support by giving this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also click on the notification bell so you won't miss the latest videos I upload. Help me reach a milestone of 10,000 subs before 2025 ends. This would help me a lot, especially in making future videos for you all. Have a wonderful day, afternoon, or night. Love you all and take care. See you on my next video.